Welcome to the Word. We are going to discuss some Torah. Instead of riffing off of today's headlines, we're going to take our cues from God's Word. Yes, the Bible, the Torah. Torah study. Is it possible to run any faster away from such a pursuit? Who among us has not dreaded such an undertaking? Studying the Word of God, it seems so overwhelming. Studying the book from the creator of all things seen and not seen. Is there going to be an exam? Is there homework? Surely there's some other class I can take for equal credit, right? You know, like an art appreciation class. I'm really good with color. Please don't make me do it. I could barely get through my sociology of Miley Cyrus, race, class, gender, and media class. And now I've got to study a book that was written on lambskin scroll? I won't do it. I won't do it. I'm out. Yeah, oh sure. Seemingly my whole life is an attempt to not participate in the Word of God. Yeah, I get it. I've been that guy. I've also been this guy. What is God anyway, except an invention of ancient man to explain the unexplainable? We have science now. Why bother with a book written before the advent of printing? Okay, I get it. This is not an easy thing to accept. You want this to be science, completely vetted with empirical evidence. Okay, all right. Let's say it was. Let's say the Torah was a science book, which, by the way, you'd be surprised how much science actually is in it, but that's a whole other thing. All right, so everything in the book has been discovered physically. Every spiritual nugget has been confirmed by the very best psychologists, neuroscientists. It's all right there. And the facts are completely available, approved by the FDA, AMA, CIA, NBA. I'm telling you, all of it. And Jonah swallowed by the whale. They have a whale. Yes, it's still alive. It's at SeaWorld. It does 3 shows a day in Florida. Very impressive when they spit out the guy onto the land. I don't know how he lives through it. I just don't know. They got Noah's Ark. It's part of the Carnival Cruise Line. The animals have seen better days. Yes, this place stinks, but it's a friggin' Noah's Ark. That's what you want. You want the exact spot where God and Moses part the Red Sea. They've got it. It's still parting. It's a fabulous beach resort in Egypt and Israel. Sure, it's a little difficult to hop in the water and start surfing and launch a jet ski because there's like giant walls of water on both sides. But hey, you can peer deep into the underwater like a scuba diving without ever leaving your beach chair. Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? If all of this could just magically appear, then you would believe, you would study, you would follow. But that's not the point. Then it's all completely done for you. You see, with Torah, every fragment of every verse, it's a code to crack. The truth is purposely veiled from you in order for humans to retain free will. If I have a science book that tells me exactly how to build a nuclear reactor, believe me, I would follow that book quite closely and hopefully never deviate. There'd be no critical thinking at all, only following the facts in the manual. The only free will in the process would be to build it or not to build it. If that was Torah study, then the only free will would be to follow each word or don't. But that's not what this is about. The Torah is not just a series of facts. With Torah study, you're the scientist. Torah study challenges you to discover the truth in order for the truth to have a real significant meaning. Because truth without work is just facts. Facts don't bring wisdom. Truth acquired through effort. Now that's wisdom. The often cryptic nature of Torah's verses is proof that God wants us to retain free will while we're here on this earth. You want facts? Read a science book. You want a chance at genuine understanding of your existence and purpose other than it's time to take out the garbage? Well, then welcome to the show. So let's get going from the first line, all right? The very first line, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Here it is. In the beginning of God's creation of the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, yep, here we go. Okay, why do we need to know it's the beginning? Why does there need to be a beginning? Why can't we just accept that things are as they are? I mean, look at me. I can't get past the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. How are we ever going to get through this? Why are beginnings important? Apparently they are. I mean, premieres, world premieres, opening night, births. The beginning has value. A rookie card of Mickey Mantle is worth nearly $3 million. But the following year, it's only worth, his next year of playing, it's only worth $30,000. Wow. Is Genesis the rookie card of the Bible? That would be like a strange looking card, just like a square black void and nothing. Turn it over and it says, despite no existence or prior play, we are looking for big, very big, enormous, unimaginable production from God this season. Why can't we just start from the middle just once? Can't we just start, and go right to the end? Why do we have to start in the beginning? Let's start with the Jews entering the promised land. That's good. I'm good with that, right? We made it. Did you ever start reading a book from the middle or like the last chapter, or like pick up a movie in its last half hour? We've all done it. I think the first time I saw It's a Wonderful Life, I started watching it towards the end from the scene where George Bailey is being shot at while running down the red light district of Pottersville screaming, Mary, Mary. I spent the next 10 minutes trying to figure out what he had done. Was he a bank robber, or had he somehow done something horrible to Mary? Becomes like a guessing game with yourself, trying to figure out what's happening. And what? No one recognizes the dude in the whole town, including his own mother? I had him pegged as a loser rapist. I didn't know what was happening. It's interesting. We think we care about how something ends. We're obsessed with it. Get to the ending. How does it end? Okay, I get it. How does it end? But we really learn much more how something begins. It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Endings are the results, the facts, but without context. What can we learn about the end of the Holocaust? 6 million Jews were murdered by a bad man and his followers. That's a horrible fact of truth. But can we really learn from it? How can we hope to possibly prevent some horrible thing like that happening again from just knowing that fact? How can human beings do such things to each other? Well, you need to go back to the beginning, to the very beginning, to really understand. And to help us tonight fully understand the beginning on our own beginning, let's welcome our incredible guests. She works the late shift writing on The Tonight Show, Lights Out with David Spade, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and she still has time to keep her day job, stand-up comedy. Welcome, writer, comedian, Candice Thompson.
Hello.
Hey. He's had more beginnings without an ending than anyone I know, but he's no longer the opening act to anyone. Welcome, headliner, comedian, writer, actor, podcaster, and new dad, and my co-host, Mr. Sandy Danto.
Hey.
He's won a Tony Award for Best Actor for his performance in Rent as Angel. But after he pontificates here, angels will sing his sweet praises forever. Actor, director, Mr. Wilson Heredia. Very nice. Very. She's an actress, a world traveler, a deep thinker, and now a person in a tiny square, making her out-of-the-box thinking even more remarkable. Welcome, my sidekick, Jackie Vinny. Sandy, are you there? Where's your square? So let's go to you first. Would you prefer movies just getting right to the finish? Thelma and Louise drive over the cliff, the end?
That's all I really know of Thelma and Louise, but I've plenty of movies from the middle or just from the last act on, and that's all I've seen of them. And I take enough of the context to get it or get the cultural references. But beginnings are important. Have you ever heard the phrase that's pretty common in mine and Candice's line of work? Wouldn't open with it. People say that because your first impression is really important. And when you're telling a story or you're telling jokes, you need to hook people in with your first impression. And what better way to hook people in and to say, like, created the heavens and the earth. You want to know how this started? You're about to find out. I'm married to my high school girlfriend. We didn't stay together the whole time between high school and now. We broke up for 10 years. But the first time I met her parents, I showed up to their house wearing a hemp necklace. I still haven't lived down that first impression.
Yeah. What do they do with that? Wilson. Births are significant beginnings, right? Why do you think we're obsessed with celebrating our birthdays and not celebrating our death days? Why is it so significant? A child's birth, the birth.
Yeah, I guess it's really the excitement of what that life is going to be, the endless possibilities of that person's life, and sort of the I bet you don't know what's going to happen next. So,
Candice, do you think, as Sandy said, you have a good set with? Can you have a good set without a good opening joke? Can you start a show from the middle? Have you ever done it?
No, I mean I've bombed sometimes where it's like, oh, I wish I could have started in the middle and had less time on stage, but. You got to dig yourself out, but you need to have a strong beginning. That's just facts. Like in the fact, a strong premise, that's where the truth is. The truth is in the origin of of the story and of the joke. Just in general, like when you look at like the Marvel movies, like you look at Iron Man, like if you start in the middle, you're just going to think he was always like a benevolent superhero, where it's like you missed the part where he was like a billionaire narcissist weapons dealer. So like if you start in the middle of the story, you're just going to believe that Kim Kardashian's ass is real, right? Like, no, we need to know that was fake. We start in the middle of the story, we're going to think Michael Jackson was a white woman. Like, no, he was as a black man. We need to start with the truth, the origin.
That's good. I'm thinking about old TV shows, old sitcoms, and when the ratings used to tank, like in the 70s, 80s, 90s in a sitcom, they'd always shove in like a little kid. Like it never explained it. They just like put him in. Like there was no beginning. He just popped up, And sometimes it would like beef up the ratings.
You're talking about the Brady Bunch, like cousin Ollie.
Cousin Ollie, yeah. Any of them. They were always putting like a little kid in all these shows. Yeah. With no
what
explanation.
Does that have to do with what you're talking about?
That bothered me. There were no beginnings. People just popped up.
Oh, yeah.
I see what you're saying.
With no context.
That raises a good point. It's like, when is the beginning? Is the beginning when you were born? Or is the beginning when your parents had a first date? Or is your beginning when your grandparents bumped uglies?
Are you insinuating that there's a prequel to the Old Testament and it's God's origin story?
Yeah. Yeah.
Touch base, Sandy.
I smell a Marvel movie.
Which is really what I guess Genesis is about. Maybe Genesis started out with the end of something, which is why it was dark, and then it went back to light.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Which is coming up, which we're gonna, and when we come back from our break, we will get to that part. So stay tuned. Okay, we're back to the Word, and we're on Genesis, and we're still on chapter 1, verse 1. Oh, God help us. In the beginning of God's creation of the heavens and the earth. Nope, still can't get through it. Of God's creation of the heavens and the earth. God's creation, as opposed to who? Bill? I mean, why does God have to tell us that it's his creation? To tell you the truth, it never occurred to me that anybody else might have created the heavens and the earth. I mean, could we wake up one day and think Kanye West created the heavens and the earth? It's possible that he wakes up thinking that every morning. But us, no. God definitely wants us to know who owns the copyright to creation. Apparently, plagiarism runs deep, even with this stuff. I mean, after all, didn't Al Gore create the internet? I mean, God knows that man may at some point believe that he is the creator. It doesn't take long for man to forget where he came from and take all the credit. Hey, we're the ones doing all the dirty work down here anyway. And where is God? Think about it. Just a couple of generations with no God and no Bible and none of this. And we're worshiping a guy named Fred who lives in a mobile home in Rancho Cucamonga. Hey, wasn't that David Koresh, the Branch Davidian guy? No, I think there was a mobile home in Waco, Texas. Jim Jones, the Kool-Aid guy. He had a living, he was living in a mobile home down outside Los Angeles at some point. I just know it. You don't believe me? You don't believe that we'll start worshiping man or we'll make man the self-proclaimed deities? Check out all the people that we've worshipped that believed at some point in history that they created everything. At every stage in history, in every location, we believed in some guy that took credit for everything. How many rulers in history claim to be God or false idols worshipped? But here, there's no ambiguity. It's clear. This is God's creation. There's the copyright. It's right in front of you. Candice, could man's biggest fall from grace is when he thinks he is the center of the universe, creator of worlds, or possibly that there is no creator at all, but that this is just a vast, unimaginable accident that no thing created? What do you think?
I think God is, honestly, I think we might be overanalyzing a little bit. I think God maybe was just flexing a little bit, letting people know I made this. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a flex. Like I take pictures of my dinner and post it on Instagram just to let people know what I made. If I made Earth and the heavens, I would let everybody know. I did this, son. I did this.
But why is that important? Why is it important? Does God need praise? Why do we need to know that God created this? Why? Why do I need to know that that's your dinner? Why can't it be Wilson's? You're posting Wilson's dinner. What? You would be a plagiarist.
Because we're all sad. We need validation and we need likes. I think God was doing it for the likes.
Word.
Jackie, you there? Did God know that we would be tempted to claim copyright on creation or invent false deities and idols and give them the credit?
He's got to, because monkey see, monkey do. If he's already just done it and he's already boasting about it, like, look what I made. What do you think all those other little monkeys that he's creating are going to do? They're going to be running around trying to be God, trying to be their creator, trying to be their dad, trying to be who they look up to. Like, hey, look, I can be like God too. I'm really amazing. The universe also revolves around me. And here we are.
Wilson? Yeah.
Well,
Wilson,
I think definitely is a really
when you got that Tony Award, best act, and you're standing there, right?
Yeah. So it
aren't you thinking?
I got it for a reason.
I'm king of the world, baby. Are
Yeah.
you thinking it? Or are you thinking? What do you think?
So get ready for it. I think that verse is sort of to remind us because it was written at a time where knowing man's nature is to very much like what Candice was saying is like pretty much forget and take credit for things. And sometimes we have to be reminded and come correct. Actually, if anything, we now in this particular century, we actually blame God for more stuff than we thank him for. So, and I think that's just, again, more human nature that we get a little too, we just kind of like forget, but that's going to be solved really quickly, like when AI takes over. So You know.
Sandy, you got any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of what Candice said, because it is an important, this verse specifically is an important distinction, okay? First of all, the plagiarism thing, near and dear to comics' hearts, you know? It really is. It should be, and it should be for anyone who creates anything. But why this verse is so important, it's because it's hard to believe in a living being that you can't visualize. God is not meant to be visualized in any tangible kind of way. It's hard to devote your life and worship and give credit to all of creation to a vibe. You know, that's like the idea of worshiping a spirit that's not meant to be seen in a tangible way is like enjoying the binary code of a Pornhub video. It's just like, it's hard to connect those two things. So God in this verse is letting you know, I did this. I'm flexing to let you know, you may not be able to see me, but I'm real. I'm here. I'm doing this. You know, it's easier to worship things you can see. That's why in India, cows are worshipped, because cheese is delicious. It's an otherworldly food. You know, like, vegans are like, oh, I just still wish I could eat cheese. You know, it's unbelievable.
That's why they worship cows in India, because the cheese tastes really good.
I mean, that's what connects with me. That's what connects to me, because it's like you're worshiping what provides for you. So I think this verse is really important to let people know, I've provided all this for you.
Wow. Candice, you have anything to add?
No, I mean,
on this madness?
No, I just love cheese too.
I wonder if commercials are in God's creation. Well, you have him to blame. We'll be right back. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Still going. In the beginning of God's creation of the heavens and the earth. Oh no, I'm not going to get through it again. Of the heavens and the earth. Why isn't the earth thrown in with the heavens? There's a lot of stuff floating around out there. I mean, at last count, according to our greatest astronomers, there are 720 quintillion planets in the universe. Give or take a quintillion, you know? So apparently, God doesn't want Earth to be just another run-of-the-mill planet. He singled us out. He's got plans for this place, like life. But come on, surely with that amount of planets and Earth like balls spinning in some far-off galaxy must exist that can support life. You know, you'd think. But going back to our esteemed astronomers, apparently this unimaginable number of planets is having the opposite impact on astronomers' belief of an Earth-like planet that could sustain intelligent life. Yeah. Science is going the other way. A part of the theory goes that because we know of the existence of so many planets now, that it's just not possible that we are not visited by intelligent life constantly and continually from all points of the universe. But yet, our modern telescopes, tracking devices, and our own history reveal almost no signs of ETs. There's still no smoking gun. Yeah, we got the YouTube videos and all that, but there's no, I mean, where are they? So with that in mind, why would God create an almost infinite amount of lifeless planets, stars, and galaxies, the heavens, and have our tiny pinprick of a planet, the Earth, teeming with life? Why not make Earth like the rest of the universe, another lifeless planet? But he didn't. He didn't. You know, when I was a little boy and we incredibly landed on the moon, and I watched every moment, the most insane moment of that, the most mind-blowing, was when the astronauts standing on the moon turned their cameras to Earth. For the first time, we got to see this brilliantly alive, blue and swirling white planet Earth with the barren, lifeless lunar landscape in the foreground. This glorious adventure wasn't about how cool the moon was. It was how awesome, how filled of life our Earth was. Planets in the universe are just giant grains of sand, devoid of intelligent life. Then perhaps all that truly matters to God is life as it exists on Earth. Is life so precious, so uncommon, so special, so valued by God that perhaps a single person could have more value to him than a lifeless planet the size of Jupiter, or even, dare I say, an entire galaxy? We travel, we search, we scan, we imagine the far reaches of space, looking for clues of life, as if sifting through endless soot and sand, panning for gold. But what we don't realize is we may be the gold. And then again, maybe ETs are my next door neighbors and they just have really good masks. Wilson? How did we ever get to the point of killing each other when our existence on Earth is so profoundly special?
I think that, yeah, we're definitely special. I think that it's up to us to consider all life precious and all kinds of life precious. If anything, what religion does teach us, some of the good things, is that have an honor life, honor where things come from, and try to create a balance with everything. Unlike what we're doing right now, which is kind of like, you know, we're not even eating through everything anymore. Now we're kind of like the planet itself is sort of like a culture of like what they're eating, like half an apple and throwing it away. We're that kind of culture now. Like we're just wanton with everything because we assume that life is teeming here and that we're so special.
But we may be.
Yeah.
We may be special. I mean, I know, like, look, I spent most of my life, you know, thinking that, you know, aliens were here. And even when I was like a kid, there was a thing, Chariots of the Gods, and there was a whole book and a whole movement about that. Do you remember that? And years, and I listened to the Art Bell show and all that stuff, and I bought in. And now, you know, I'm an older guy, and where are they? Where the hell are these aliens already? You know, yeah, I mean, like, I've seen the videos and everything. I'm in, but this might be it, which makes the reason this unimaginable galaxy filled with lifeless planets, and what the hell is all that? Sandy, you have anything on this?
Yeah, so we're a needle in a haystack, but we relatively only recently developed the technology to look for other haystacks and other needles within them. So follow me here on a sci-fi quantum level, and I promise I'll bring it back to religiosity. Maybe it's possible that of all this vast, infinite universe and all these quintillions of other planets, that they are on timelines that both predate and post-date our creation and our demise. It's just before we have started, and that's why we haven't found them yet, and it's just after we have ended. And therefore, we are living in a similar type version of creation that all these other possible needles are in, but they're just, you know,
Sandy,
running late.
Sandy, we're talking about 720 quintillion planets. So you can factor all that stuff in that you just said, and that leaves us, all right, maybe a few trillion planets, you know, that don't, you know, meet that criteria, Sandy. They factored that in, and they should be sitting on my focus right now. They should be an alien right in this group right here. One of the squares should be an alien. Craig, the director, should be an alien.
But also, if if they are intelligent enough to be here, don't you think they'd be intelligent enough to trick you into thinking they're not?
That's what you're doing on the show. You're the alien. You're
Yeah.
Look. Oh my.
So how long have you been here? Tell us the
Candice, you got some
What is
thoughts
your
on
nickname?
this? Am I out of my mind?
Yeah.
By the way, 720 quintillion planets. It's over. You can't comprehend. There's nothing. We have to give up just thinking about that.
We haven't even mentioned how the Earth is really flat. The conspiracy theorist in me is like, are we sure there's
I get it. I live there.
quintillion planets out there?
But do the ultimate conspiracy theory. The ultimate conspiracy theory, you know, for our world, our time in right now, would be to believe that we're alone.
I mean, then I also consider the fact, like, maybe God's just a one-trick pony. Maybe it was lightning in a bottle. Maybe this was all he had. Maybe it was this, he created this, and then maybe lost the blueprints and couldn't start over again. I don't know. This might be all he had.
To be real, I am in an alien group, and I'm just saying, I'm on the alien train. Boom. That's cool.
All right. Done.
And we'll see you after this break.
Everybody's with the alien thing. But I'm just trying to say, what if we're the only ones and Earth's the only planet with intelligent life? Think about it. Let it in. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. We are here. We are in a deep discussion about, oh God, craziness. Who are we kidding? The absolute mayhem. Yeah, it's nuts. All right, you got to join in. Look, we're on Genesis chapter 1, and we're moving to verse 2. We are done, but we're not really done because you're never done with a verse. But we're moving to verse 2 of Genesis, yes. And here we go. And now the earth was astonishingly empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the water. And then we move on to Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. We're going to move on. We're getting through this quickly now. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Well, God flips on the lights to the lab, and we're in business. It's a powerful moment when the lights come on the first time. Have you ever experienced a really bad power failure? You know, where everything goes dark? It's as if life itself has come to a halt. You know, it can go on for hours, sometimes days, months if you're in a hurricane. And then suddenly the lights come back up. It's as if your house has been reborn again. Really, there's a moment of ecstasy, gratefulness, of rebirth. You can experience this witnessing even like in a great sunrise. It really is like a rebirth, like a new beginning, as if the face of God is upon you the entire day. Sandy Danto, I'm coming to you first. Yes. Light's an interesting beast, Sandy. It's always there, so we don't really think of it as being created. But when the light suddenly disappears, all we do is think about, who's going to create something to make it go back on, Sandy? How do I get it back on? Is light life, Sandy?
Whoa. Light is very powerful. Seeing sunrise, very powerful. Whether you're seeing it because you wake up at the crack of dawn to get your nose to the grindstone, or because you've been up all night putting your nose to something else. It's powerful and energizing. And in that last example, it can be very depressing. Stop shaming me, sunshine. But let there be light. It's very, that saying is very illuminating. Light lets you know that things are good or positive and clear, concise, whereas darkness is the opposite. It can be bad and scary or, just unclear or confusing, and we interpret it as negative, even if it's not. But light allows us to cut through the confusion, and so there's a power in clarity.
Candice, you do not escape the light. Tell me, what is the significance of let there be light? What is God trying to tell us?
Well, as a very light-skinned Black woman, this topic is triggering for me. I mean, there's the like Sandy was saying, that you can't have one without the other. You got to have the light and the dark. There's the duality. So one can't exist without the other one. But unfortunately, there's always like positive attributes that are given to the light and the negative attributes that are given to the dark. I personally don't think that light is necessarily the light is not always great. Like when you're a comic and you're bombing on stage, they give you the light. They're like, get off the stage. That's like, okay, not a good sign for me. We've all been in the club at 2:00 in the morning and they turn that light on and you've been sweating and drinking for 3 hours. That's not a good light. You see, you're like, oh, is this my baby hair is curled up? Look what's happening. When the sun comes up in the morning, you went home with some strange the night before, and you're like, oh, this was a mistake. Like, there's a lot of that also comes with the light. That's all I'm saying.
Wilson, it says, let there be light. Is there anything there?
Well, yeah, I don't think that. I mean, if you want to, go into the semantics of it, he said, let there be light, as in like the light was already there, and now I'm going to let y'all have it.
Wow. No, that's not a mistake in the Torah. That's good.
Yeah.
The light was already there. He allowed it to go on.
Right. He just shined it upon you, but the light was already there. Just very much like, stage as well. It was like I was here, but now you can see me because now I'm shining the light on you. Or now it's shining the light on me.
Wow.
And
that's actually pretty profound.
And thank you.
The light is on. The light has been shined upon you. When you walk out on stage and you're, one of your Broadway productions, and the lights come up.
Yeah, and then something is going to happen. It illumination also.
The only thing that makes light good and illuminating is that the darkness exists. Like without the contrast of the darkness, there would not be light.
See, this is what Star Wars is all about, you guys. This is why the Force is in all of us.
Well, there are creatures here on this planet, not for nothing, that live in absolute 100% complete darkness.
It's interesting though you said about, there's certain, creatures on Earth, but man, like there's blind people that create amazing things, and Stevie Wonder, one of my all-time favorite. I mean, blind. There is no light coming in, but yet, how could you say that? He's all light, in some regard.
Conspiracy theory. There's a conspiracy theory that he can see.
That's yes, there is.
I missed that. Really?
Yes.
Oh, that bothers me now.
What?
What
go on YouTube and there's a video of him catching a microphone pole. So he's on stage. He's on stage singing with whoever. I can't remember who else is on stage with them, but like it's a band. There's another singer, whatever. And his microphone stand starts to fall, and he just catches it. And it's like, how did you know that was falling? His presence
we really
is
talking of whether Stevie Wonder is actually blind or not? How is it?
Very much.
What has happened?
Scott, you can read about all these theories and more in the InfoWars edition of the Bible. It's called the New Testament to the New Testament. And there's a lot of interesting stuff in there about the frogs from Exodus being gay.
Sandy, we're heading out to break, but when we come back, I'm going to be asking you, Sandy, and all the other guests, what did you learn today? when we come back.
Pop quiz.
Okay, hey, and we are back, and we call this last segment, what did we learn today? So, Sandy Danto, we're very talkative and receptive and so forth. What did you learn today, Sandy?
Scott, today I learned from Wilson that we're only able to process a small portion of what's out there. We're only able to experience what we're intended to as a human life force. I learned that there's 720 quintillion planets out in the universe that astronomers have been able to discover so far, and maybe we haven't discovered intelligent life amongst those unmeasurable amount of planets, because God's created these challenges for us to be more gratifying and fruitful once we figure them out for ourselves. It's not like in the Old Testament. The stories are teeming with anecdotes of God handing everything to humans. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. We're meant to figure things out for ourselves, so maybe this is one of our many cosmic challenges, that we look back to the beginning and see how it comes full circle and makes believers out of all the atheists, and we all join in hands across the world to show the intelligent life out there. We found how unified and peaceful we are before the extraterrestrials in our planet and drain it for all its resources.
All right. That's too much. You've learned too much, Sandy. Candice, what have you learned today?
I've learned that none of us know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. But we keep trying. We do, and that's what counts. That's what God is going to look at. Like, did they try? And did they try? He'll then, we got to go to heaven. I did learn that I didn't know quintillion was a thing. Like, that's a number that we never learned in school. I'm like, I think I heard Jeff Bezos is going to be the first trillionaire that exists, but I was like, he at this rate, he might be the first quintillionaire at this point if he keeps going. Also, I learned that AI is going to kill all of us. Yeah, that's according to Wilson. We're all going to die. We're all going to die. Wilson, what did you learn today?
That the government has finally validated everything that Bob Lazar said years ago, and that they destroyed this man's life, but now they're saying like he was right. So the lesson really is don't say, because they will destroy you, and just keep it to yourself, and only do this on podcasts and on Skype.
Okay, Jackie, what did you learn today?
I learned that Stevie Wonder isn't blind? ?
That's a fact.
All right. Well, hey, that's everybody. And that was our show. And next week we'll continue our journey through Genesis and beyond. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it all.
Every day good, folks.